Boom! What's going on, everyone? This is Steve Larsen. Welcome to an episode of Sales Funnel Radio. This is kind of a weird Sales Funnel Radio episode. I'm making the intro at the end of this episode. And I kind of want to take you guys on a little bit of a walkthrough of where I grew up. And it's awesome. I loved my childhood. But just like anybody, there's a lot of garbage, right, that can come just from things that were even unintentional. And anyway, so this episode is a little bit different. I am walking 5 miles right now. My shoes are killing me, so I took them off. But I want you to understand first and foremost from this episode, before we cue the intro here, I want you guys to know that your future, right, has to be willed into existence. And it's one of the major things that I can pass you guys off on this episode. Oftentimes we will think that if we leave or we go somewhere or we sacrifice time to go and build something, that we'll miss out on things. And what's been interesting about me creating this episode so far is it's just not the case. I mean, I'm walking through here and it's pretty much the exact same spot. And so you're not really missing out on anything by choosing to go sacrifice some time, some comfort, some pressure in order to create the life that you're really going for. You'll realize that the sacrifices aren't really sacrifices at all. So with that, let's cue into this episode. It's a little bit rare.
I've spent the last 4 years learning from the most brilliant marketers today. And now I've left my 9-to-5 to take the plunge and build my $1 million business. The real question is, how will I do it without VC funding or debt, completely from scratch? This podcast is here to give you the answer. Join me and follow along as I learn, apply, and share marketing strategies to grow my online business, using only today's best internet sales funnels. My name is Steve Larsen, and welcome to Sales Funnel Radio.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to an episode of Sales Funnel Radio. And this might be a little raw. I grew up in this house. And, just walking down a little memory lane here. Russell Brunson did an event. It's still going on. I left the first day over in Denver. And the first day that was going on, I just couldn't get out of my head. And I was like, I gotta walk over there. So it's an hour drive, but I grew up in this house, and when I was growing up here, so I'm the oldest of 6 kids. Love my parents, love my family. They are amazing. Taught me so many things. All those yard stories I tell you about, that's the yard. All the times where we ran from golf course rangers, it's on the other side of that house over there. And I'm sure we'll blur out somehow the actual addresses here, because my family doesn't live here anymore. One of the purposes of Sales Funnel Radio was to do something kind of ballsy, which was to leave my job and do it in a way where I documented all aspects. And my intent in doing this, and the reason I'm saying this is because Sales Funnel Radio has been an awesome platform. Right now, as of me recording this, OfferMind is coming up in 2 weeks, and super excited about it. If all goes right, it'll be a multi-million-dollar day, which, it's just, it's pretty awesome. When I was growing up, we weren't poor. My dad was an executive at IBM most of my childhood. He started 2 companies and ran them. I watched him be an entrepreneur. I mean, he changed my life. And obviously my mom did too, of course. Gave me life. But you grow up, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens to you. And one of the purposes, like I said, of Sales Funnel Radio is to document the journey. And so this is me documenting it. There's a lot of garbage that I've been trying to go fix. Because one of the biggest things I'm noticing is that it's a pattern that I'm noticing and I'm seeing. A lot of times people can't move forward in this game. I believe anyone can make money in this game, but there's a certain spot you hit where you stop, right? And you stop and you can't go any further, and they can't go into the future until they find some way to shake hands with their past. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm trying to do. And so a lot of you guys have reached out and you've been like, Steven, take more time for yourself. I actually take more time for myself than you might realize or even know that I do. It's because of systems. It's because of processes. I've gotten good at them. I haven't built a funnel since like November of 2018, right? I mean, maybe like a single page squeeze page or something like that. But like for the most part, I haven't touched my own funnels. I don't do much with my podcast episodes anymore. It's the system. It's the team. I have incredible teams, incredible funnel builders, and it's been awesome. So what that's allowed me to do, guys, I'll tell you, like if you don't learn to make money for the sake of learning to make more money in general, do it for the hidden benefit of being able to spend money and time on you. Right? There's never been a point in my life as right now. I've always been able to go, I've never been able to go because I've always been in a job. I've always had to work. You know, I've worked for somebody else. I worked construction jobs here. I worked at Discount Tire. I was a pool boy. I did all kinds of stuff. I worked at a plastic factory. That was my first job, actually. I worked at this golf course across the street. I worked at a clothing store. I worked at a sports store. I had like 16 jobs by the time I left home. And anyway, a lot of side stories there. But I just wanted you to know, like, it's a pattern that I'm noticing. Find some way to shake the hands of your past, right? Now, it doesn't mean you gotta like it, right? And I'm not saying that mine's like super dark, but there's a lot more dark than I've ever let on, and which is super challenging. When I was, there's a lot of death when I was growing up. There's a lot of death. There was a lot of there's just some intense crap that went down, and it was, this is suburbia. I've grown up in suburbia, and which is great. It's not like I was fearing for my life. It's not like it's the Bronx or anything like that. But any childhood has something inside of it usually. And I'm kind of a student of exceptions. There's a lot of stuff that I've done in my life that isn't the norm, and that was a pattern I started exhibiting here. Actually, on the other side of this house, right over there, is a golf course. I mean, I almost got kicked out of high school for selling pens. I mean, so I went to high school right over there. If you guys know the Columbine shooting, that's right over there. My wife and her siblings went to college there. I went to their rival high school, which is just a few miles. It's like a mile up that direction. And anyways, there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff. A lot of things happened. And, to try and figure out ways to be okay with where you've been for some reason is super important for where you're trying to go, right? And so I knocked on the door here and I told them, I was like, hey, I used to live in this house. That's probably weird, but from age 5 to 20, I lived in this house. I was in and out, especially in my late, teen years. But I officially left the house when I was 20. And anyway, so that's the point. That's the point of this episode. It's just me documenting it. And so because of the amount of money, I mean, a low month for me now is $100,000. Please no one feel weird about that. I'm just documenting, okay? We have almost hit $200,000 this month, and we're only halfway through the month. Things are going up, and it's awesome, and it's cool, and I'm helping people, and lives are changing, and it's profitable, and everything's going the way it's supposed to go. There's been ample times when it's not. You all know those stories. But being able to make cash and buy back your time, I've always wondered what you'd spend your time on. Well, one of the most natural things that you go spend your time on when you actually start buying some of it back is working on yourself. And so I'm going through EMDR therapy, massage therapist, I have a chiropractor now. I'm getting my blood work done. I'm doing all kinds of stuff to help the longevity because I'm realizing the mission that I'm on is larger than me. And it's an honor to be able to go and do this stuff. So anyway, I just thought I'd record this here. And I'm going to walk down memory lane here just a little bit. And their little girls think I'm weird. I was like, hey, I'm going to film a video in front of your house. Is that cool? Anyway, and I really believe what I'm saying, though, that in order for you to move forward, you really need to find a way to that doesn't mean you have to like everything that happened, but you got to find some way to shake hands with the past, right? Stare those devils in the face, and you don't have to hug them, but give them a nice enthusiastic high five. And you'll find that it's so much easier to face the future and the things that I'm trying to teach you how to go do. This podcast is not a normal podcast, I know that. I teach you stuff that most people charge for, right? And there's purposes behind those things, and watch what I'm doing with it. But what I'm really trying to help you guys know how to do is make money, but so much has to happen inside your head if you're really trying to make this a career. If you're gonna go be a leader, you gotta have your head on, right? And it's like these increasing levels of self-discovery and personal development that I've been going in. I don't know. I told my wife a few weeks ago. I was like, man, I can feel like I am leveling. I'm being required. I'm being called to level up. And it was scary. And that happens like every 3 months now, guys. And so many of you reached out to be like, Steven, do you ever have fear? Duh, right? Steven, have you ever been afraid, or have you ever had is there any like weirdness that you're trying to overcome, or what are some of the ways you get, like, we all go through that. There's no one who doesn't, okay? And I just want you to know that what I'm trying to help you guys understand and learn is that, funny enough, I can teach you the formulas that cause cash, and you can make it without going into any of this stuff, but there becomes a space and there turns into a spot where you have to go and finally say, I gotta work on me, right? And which is crazy. I'm gonna get stopped here. I was just talking to the dad, just letting him know, hey, I'm not a psycho. I am actually here. Just wanted to shoot a video. And yeah, anyway, that's basically the point of the episode. I don't know what else to say about it. Pretty active individual. My high school is about a mile and a half that way, so I'll go over there. Then 2 miles the other direction after that to one of my best friend's house. And anyway, that's the whole point of the episode. Don't try to hide from stuff in your past that keeps nagging at you. You know what I'm talking about when I say that. I don't know your past, but I do know there's probably something there. And as I say it, it prompts your mind, right? And you're like, oh crap, I gotta go work on these things. So anyway, don't hide from it. You'll find that a lot of the things that you weren't amazing at were the very reason, again, like I said, that you become followable online. I was like super overweight, 35% body fat, double chin, working on the triple. And I was getting picked on a lot in high school. This is not a pity party. This is to illustrate the purpose. And I remember one day walking through the hall and I'm like, man, I'm freaking sick of this. I'm gonna go lose weight. And I started lifting every day and I lost 45 pounds 9 months later. And which was crazy. And just did a whole bunch of it was all kinds of stuff like that. And I guarantee it's highly unlikely that you're listening to Sales Funnel Radio and not have some of those things in your own past, right? We entrepreneurs tend to enjoy the triumph, and we intend to enjoy the journey as much as the end prize, which looks really weird on the outside to a lot of people. Don't apologize for that, but just understand that you also don't need everyone to like what you do or agree with it, Anyway, that's the whole point of the episode. So I'm going to walk up here for just a little bit here, keep listening to music. We'll state control while some things are a little bit triggering for me still. Gonna go prep Offermind. Excited for it. I heard Tony Robbins say he is so thankful for his history, and he's got a crazy history, right? Mine's really awesome compared to Tony Robbins' history. It's nothing like that at all. But one of the things I thought it was really cool that I heard him talk about once was that he's thankful for his scenario, for what it turned him into. And as I was driving over here in this Uber, I was sitting in the back seat. I was trying not to cry because I was thinking about it. And I was like, man, I don't know if I want to burn the house down or hug it, And it's not like things were being imposed on me, but there's a lot of crap that can go on, and I have a very active, hyperactive noggin, and I'm very observant, and it was just really hard on me for quite a while to own me, right? Give me just a moment here again. One of the best things you could ever go to do in your entire life is develop a solid sense of self. And that's what my wife and I have been focusing on like crazy. And in order to do that, we've had to confront some beasts in the closet, actually shake hands with some personal devils that not a lot of us want to go actually confront. So I know the camera's shaking here, but whatever, the lesson's cool. Okay, so what we've been doing is trying to figure out how to... It's hard enough for people to be honest about the fact that they have things in the closet that they're either not proud of, or things that happen to them, or things they're not over, or stuff that they logically should not be affected by, but emotionally are. Man, those are like some of the best gifts you could ever give to an audience ever, right? And it's one thing to just become aware of those things. It's another thing to look at them and start to pull them apart and willingly dive back into some of them to make peace with them. And I used to longboard down this road when I was probably 18 years old. I would longboard down this very road. It's steep, so I'm kind of out of breath a little bit here. It's about to get really steep. I would go barefoot, longboard barefoot, I still do. And my brother followed behind me in a car, and I would go 45 miles an hour down this road. It's crazy. We also were watching this cool show on TV where these guys would go study some martial arts. And the dude kept getting choked out, so they tied a rope to his head and then tied it to a car in neutral, and he pulled the car with his head. We're like, oh my gosh. I'll have to find the video to show you guys, because we totally did that. I had this little Volkswagen Jetta, and we tied a rope to our heads, and we pulled the car with our head with people in the car. It was not easy. We got some beefy necks after that one. Anyway. But my whole point with this is that, again, making peace with the past, right? Maybe that's what I'll call the episode. Making peace with the past and doing it in a way that, again, not that you need to like it, but you make enough peace with it that you can move forward and say, hello, future, that I can totally have, right? All the stuff that I'm learning from Steve Larsen and podcasting and all the stuff that he does, or, whoever it is that you're following, you can go do all this. The thing that most holds people back, though, is not actually confronting it. And, which is hard. And usually, that's what people are medicating. That's why people are medicating. All right? When you find people who usually have some kind of addiction, don't look at them and be like, I would never have that kind of addiction. Man, that person might be going through some crazy stuff, right? And their way of numbing out is their addiction, right? And if you have stuff in your past, look around in your life and you'll start to notice you've been numbing out too, right? How is it that you're doing that? And how can you go change it and switch it around? Oh, I'm gonna act like I'm not out of breath. This is a really steep hill. It just doesn't look like it on camera. Anyway, hey guys, so that's my challenge to you. First, number one, focus on revenue. Be highly money motivated, right? Capitalist pig. Be highly money motivated, and you do it for many reasons. Intent is what matters. So what's your intent? Is your intent to show the world you're better than everybody else? I have a bit of an issue with that, if that's why we want to get rich. If it's your intent, if it's a personal triumph, that's different. That's okay. That's awesome. I'm totally for it. If your reason to get fabulously wealthy is to turn around and enhance your own life, confront your own demons, and figure out how to bless humanity, you are in the right space and you are following the right guy. That is what my thing is all about here. And anyway, that's the challenge. If you got stuff in the past, find a way to give it an enthusiastic high five and keep moving forward. All right, I'm gonna keep walking a few more miles here. All right, abnormal episode. I'm still walking. Side note, do not walk 5 miles in dress shoes. Holy crap, my feet are wrecked. Not because it's 5 miles, that's not that far. But in dress shoes, I got blisters on my feet right now. Anyway, So key takeaways from this entire episode, I would say, is this. I've had two major things and realizations as I've been walking around. The first is that, when you're a kid or wherever you grow up, it seems so different. Perception is different. You're small physically, and I'm walking around and I'm like, this is not as big as I remember. Had a chance to go see a few things. Went back to my high school, my elementary school. My middle school is super far from here, so I'm not gonna walk all the way over there. But anyway, our perceptions of how things were in the past are often not how they really are. It's just our perception of it. The second thing that I've noticed, so besides the fact that things are not exactly as how I remember, which is actually really cool and freeing in some things, the second thing I've noticed is that this is largely the exact same place. I mean, I'm not joking, like it is, we moved here 26 years ago, right? I mean, for me, I was 5 years old. And now obviously there's been a little construction, the trees are a little bigger. But besides that, I mean, we often think, I remember I was gone for 2 years on a mission for my church. I came back and I assumed all this stuff would be different. I assumed that so many of my friends at the time would have gone off and done cool things, that they would be active participants in their own life. And that just wasn't the case. And I remember thinking back to myself, like, oh my gosh, like it was eerie to me how much the exact same it still was when I left. Not that everything was the same, but largely is the exact same. And I started thinking, so the takeaway I'm taking from this, and it's actually been healing in some regard, is our past will often look at us and they have a very convincing beckoning call, right? And a tight grip on things that we, anyway, our past can be very convincing for our current psyche and how we decide to behave in the present and our goals and what we go for and the things we're moving towards. But if you actually go back to where some things may have happened to you or for you or against you or whatever it is, right? We all have something, usually. Most human beings on this planet have something that was kind of crazy. And you think of it and it's a bad memory and you think, oh my gosh, that was terrible and everything was crazy. And not saying it wasn't, but if you go back and you start looking at it, which I'm doing right now, and I'm like, that was speaking louder in my head than it needed to be. You know what I mean? And then you're like, bring it, son. Anyway, crazy, which is really, it's been awesome. So I'll just remind everybody of that. I know it's kind of a different episode that I've ever done, but the reason is because I wanted to do an episode where I talk more about what's going on personally, right? I talk about the cash, which is great, and everyone should be, in my opinion, highly money motivated for the right reasons, with great intent, go help people, create value. But there's like so much mental stuff when you start getting serious about the game that you got to start working through. And for me, today has been walking around and in some ways either making peace with certain demons or realizing that some of the demons weren't demons and they were just in my imagination, and realizing hey, shut up. You're speaking louder than I should be letting you, and it's not fair to my future. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Would love to have a rating. If you guys could go to sjlreview.com and leave a review if you wouldn't mind, good or bad. I don't really care. I just would love feedback, total honest feedback, and let me know what it is that you're that maybe you took away from this. I'm not trying to have everyone open up a can and start getting all vulnerable in the bad ways, but I am trying to be vulnerable here and kind of record and document some of the things that I've been going through, because they've been very real for me, and especially the last 3 months, the last 3 to 6 months. It's like somebody opened up skeleton cans and just dumped them all over my head. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta go deal with all this junk before I can actually move forward and move on. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode, kind of a different one, but I wouldn't recommend going after all these things at once, but choose one or two at a time and start getting after them. So anyway, hopefully you guys like the episode. Get rich, give back. See ya.
All right, now you listening to this right now, you're in one of two scenarios. Either you're currently selling a product and you've got a slick sales funnel and traffic, there's ads, and you have content bringing in new customers. You have upsells and downsales and phone sales, and you've almost automated it, making money while doing everyday things. Either that's all set up and going, or the second option is you don't have any of that, right? And you're still trying to make this work and tie all of these pieces together. If you want my help, just go to capitalistcoaching.com and see where you can get started. It took me a long time to get the skills for all this to get moving. Writing the sales letter, making the sales videos, building the funnel, writing follow-up emails, promo campaigns, promo emails, fulfillment plans, fresh new ads. There's a lot. And the path to move forward is different for each person. So I created capitalistcoaching.com for you to check out where you need to start. Whether you're just starting out with no product, no list, or a single clue on what to do next, or if you're like one of our big corporate clients who just needs to add more revenue and scale your offer, go to capitalistcoaching.com. I don't really believe in shortcuts, but I do know you can speed up the path on the journey. Figure out the best place to start by going to capitalistcoaching.com now.